We are sitting down today with Megan Griffith, who is a coach, author, and content creator in the world of neurodivergence. Being autistic and ADHD herself, she understands the intricacies of the world of neurodivergence, helping other people just like her work with their brains instead of against it. And when she's not working, she says you can either find her dyeing her hair or playing with her 3 children. So let's welcome to the podcast, Megan Griffith. Hi, everyone. I'm sitting down with Megan Griffith, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. We're going to talk about the juicy, spicy neurodivergence world. And we're going to talk about how you can actually combine the world of online branding, personal branding with your passions and purposes using Systeme.io. So help me welcome Megan Griffith to the podcast.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
All right. I did a lot of snooping on all your websites before we jumped on. And so out of the gate, I'm 41 and I got diagnosed with ADHD at 40. And I know that that is a big piece of your platform. So can you kind of like take us down memory lane and talk about what even put you online, like, the Cliff Notes version to building multiple brands now?
Okay, so what put me online is I love to write. I had a blog after I graduated from grad school. I started a blog and it was super fun. I was posting all the time. And then I was like, I could probably make money doing this. And so I turned it into a business. That business has had multiple iterations over the years. But for the last several years, it's been really focused on neurodivergence, especially autism and ADHD. And I guess what got me online was just I was at home with my 1-year-old. It was the height of the pandemic. I was writing all the time. And I was like, if I'm going to dedicate this much time to it, I want people to actually see it and maybe even pay me. And that's kind of what it grew out of, was just this desire to like contribute to my family's financial well-being and also help other people understand their brains.
Okay. So you combine, passion with profit, or being able to maximize efficiently what you were already doing. All right. And so talk about the transition of, you said this, it took many iterations to get to where you are. Was it always neurodivergence education? Did you find that along the way?
Yeah, I definitely found that along the way. When I first started the business, it was called Healing Unscripted, which I actually still love that name. And it was all about like mental health in general, depression, shame. A lot of the stuff I'm doing now, actually, is what I started with. And then I started to realize that was before I was even diagnosed. And then I was like, oh no, I think I'm autistic maybe. And then I got assessed and she was like, oh, you're definitely autistic. And also you're very ADHD. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I kind of shifted the business from there because all of the clients I was attracting were ADHD. So it just made sense. And I really went down that rabbit hole and had so much fun doing it. And now the current iteration of my business is just my name, Megan Griffith, because I got tired of buying new domains every time I wanted to shift my content. And yeah, I'm back to focusing on shame work again.
Wow. Look at that go full circle. Like you truly did do healing in an unscripted way.
Yeah.
So as you were doing self-discovery, learning all this, do you help people along that discovery? I know you're not a doctor, right? Not a doctor. Yep. We got to put that out there.
Yes.
You're not licensed for anything, but you attract that tribe through your vibe.
Yeah.
And giving them permission to also go through these seasons and this healing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am not a doctor. I can't diagnose anything, but what I can do is teach you like what is monotropism and how is that affecting the way you interact with your kids? What is, pathological demand avoidance? Is that something you deal with? Like how does the dopamine system in an ADHD brain work? Like I know a lot of that stuff, so I can teach about how your brain works so that you can make your life work for you.
Ooh, I like that. To help your life work for you. And when you named all those, I only know the third one. So I'm like, ooh.
Well, I
Education.
have a second book coming out about monotropism. Not sure, we don't have a published date yet, but about monotropism, which is basically just like that tunnel vision that a lot of ADHDers and autistic folks get when we're really interested in something. That's kind of the gist of monotropism. So there's an illustrated book about that coming soon.
Like hyperfocus?
Hyperfocus is a form of monotropism. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I get that. I'm like, how can I turn this complex thing into something simple that I can understand? And that's what you do for people. That's what the book is about, right?
Mhm.
All right. So speaking of book, don't you have a current book available right now?
I do. My first book is called Welcome to ADHD: How to Survive and Thrive as an Adult with Autism and ADHD.
Ooh. Well, now let's get into the juicy tidbits of how the book, your platform and your purpose, what you're doing and helping people be educated, aware of their, circumstances and situations that work with who they are with Systeme.io. So when did you find System and what was the first thing you built with it?
Okay, so I found Systeme early 2024, or was it? Yeah, it was like March 2024, I think. So it's been about 2 years, which is crazy because I feel like I've been on Systeme this whole time, honestly, because it's been really great. But I think the first thing I built was my website, which was at the time under the blog section. And basically, at first, I just wanted to do a one-to-one transfer. I was using a different software before, and I was like, I'll just recreate it in Systeme. But then Systeme had so many different options that I didn't have in my previous software. And I was kind of going through another sort of gentle rebrand. It was still ADHD stuff, but the name was changing and whatnot. And so I was like, no, I'm going to go full rainbow. And Systeme made that really easy and really pretty. And honestly, I have barely touched my website since I first designed it because I'm just happy with it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So is that the megangriffith.com?
That's the neurocuriosityclub.com. Yeah.
All right. So that was the first one you built, neurocuriosity.com or neurocuriosityclub.com.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was the first one you built. So let's dive into the rainbow that you mentioned, all the gadgets and the gadgets and the fun things that are inside of it. Was it you said website. So landing pages, funnels, email marketing. How did this explosion of the rainbow happen?
Okay, so I started with just the homepage, right? And then I knew on the homepage I wanted to get people to book a discovery call. And I used to just send people to my Calendly, but it was really nice that I could actually embed my Calendly into a Systeme.io funnel. And that way I could have a custom thank you page so that after they booked a call, it would automatically take them to a page where I gave them a little coupon, because my discovery calls cost like $15 just because I work with ADHDers, and if they don't put a little money in the game, they tend to forget to show up, which I totally get and totally understand. I am the same way. But I also don't necessarily need, like, that $15 is just to make sure they show up. And so on the custom thank you page, I'm like, hey, here's $15 coupon to my shop. Enjoy, and that seems to work really well. But I couldn't do that before when I was just doing it all through Calendly. But with Systeme, I had a whole little funnel set up for my discovery calls. So that was probably the second thing I built. And then, of course, email marketing is really important to me. I've been growing my email list since day one. And I built, I think, a campaign, like just a general welcome campaign, so that anyone who signs up for anything on my website, in the automations, I add them to that welcome campaign. And it's just like 3 or 4 emails, basically like saying, hey, my name is Megan, this is what I do. And then the next email is like, ChatGPT cannot tell you if you're autistic, please stop asking. And then, hey, here are some of my services, and that kind of stuff. So what else did I build out? Some funnels, some email marketing, and I love, like I already mentioned, the coupons are super easy to use inside of Systeme. So yeah, I kind of just jumped right into all of it.
Okay. So I love that you probably just did an unlock for a lot of people with that discovery call, charging, then giving a coupon. And you said to your store, Is your store built on System? And
It
what do you have
is,
in it?
yes. Yeah, so I basically just built a landing page on my website. So it's like a page, and it just says like shop at the top, and then I have a bunch of visuals of all the things you can buy, and then you click on that and it'll take you to the sales page, and then you can buy things that way.
Okay. So here's one thing that System has. Their store isn't like a Shopify or an e-commerce, so you can't like click, 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 buy like 100 things. So how do you, circumvent that or be able to combine, or can they combine, or like, how have you approached that?
So generally speaking, I just tell people, yeah, you're going to have to check out a couple times. It's fine. Basically, whenever they click the button, I make sure it opens in a new tab. That way they don't lose the shop, so they can come back and like keep buying stuff if they want. But the other things that are frequently bought together, like I have an autism discovery binder and an ADHD discovery binder, and people often want both. So I do have like a click where it's like you can actually get both for a discount.
Okay. So a tripwire upsell that's in that, processing area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. And so you're paying attention to your avatars. You're paying attention to your tribe, your community, and saying, okay, I see these patterns. So how can I make these patterns work for me, not against me, instead of
Mm-hmm.
forcing them into a box, which the world does.
Yeah.
All right. And so now let's talk about the diversity of, your own brand. So we talked about the Megan Griffith. Then you have this neurodiversity or curiosity, my bad.
Yeah. No, you're okay.
And isn't there a third website too I just saw?
Yes. So I actually am closing that one down, but it's
Oh,
called
okay.
The Chaotic Entrepreneur. I dabbled in a little bit of business coaching. I have grown these brands and had a lot of fun doing it. And so I, dabbled with teaching other people how to do this too.
Okay. All right. All right. So we won't spend too much time on that. So how do you run the two websites? Because that's a new transition for Systeme.io. It used to be under blog. So if you're listening here in March 2026, blog has been antiquated and now they have website. And how do you operate those? Do you operate it all under one account? Did you do them as sub accounts? How did you keep it
So when
clean?
I started with System, sub accounts weren't a thing quite yet. So I just have it all on one account. And when I was running the Chaotic Entrepreneur and the Neuro Curiosity Club at the same time, I basically just used an email tag. So whenever people signed up for any kind of freebie or paid me for anything regarding the Chaotic Entrepreneur, it would have a little TCE tag. And that's how I circumvented and made sure I was only emailing people who signed up for that email list, because you want to be really careful. You do not want to email people for something they didn't sign up for. You don't want to, I wouldn't want my Chaotic Entrepreneur folks to end up on my Neuro Curiosity Club, not because they wouldn't relate. A lot of them do, but they didn't opt in for that. And that's not cool
Okay.
to do that to people. So, yeah, that's how I got around that. It was pretty simple.
All right. Did you find the tags easy to implement? How can you lean into the email marketing? I think a lot of people kind of get lost because it's like, well, there's so many options.
Oh
How
my
did
goodness.
you
Email
keep it
marketing
simple?
so confused me at first. I was like, what is this? But okay, think about it this way. Have you guys seen those parties that you can go to where there's the different color solo cups? And if you're taken, you use a red cup because you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm in a committed relationship. I'm not open to that. If you're curious, you take a yellow cup. And then if you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, you take a green cup. So it's just a way of letting everybody know what your vibe is. And that is what email marketing is like. You literally are just assigning different color cups to different people so that you know what they opted in for, what they already have information about, what they might need more information about. That's all tagging is. It's not complicated. You're just putting a little tag on somebody so you know what they want to see.
That's a great explanation. You gave an analogy for something that could be complex, that's overwhelming for a lot of people, and simplified it. And so it's really helping them mark their lanes of which way they want to go. So now let's lead into this new thing that you're doing. You have this book, and I saw on your website that you have all these links and this marketing. Lean into self-publishing and putting a book online and using Systeme.io for a personal brand versus like tech people teaching tech to other people for tech. Like, this is really cool because you're leaning into that personal brand and not self-publishing. That's right. Lean into publishing a book?
Yeah. So I think I see a lot of people using System, like you said, for tech tutorials or to help other people who are in tech. And that's awesome. We love that. But that isn't the only thing it's good for. Like, I have loved using Systeme.io for my personal brand, because I think a personal brand is more successful the more omnipresent you can be. And I don't say that to be like, oh, you should be everywhere all the time, like hustle, grind, burnout, like that's not the vibe. But it is nice to have a website, and it's nice to have an email list, and it's nice to be on socials and all of this stuff. And the nice thing is Systeme.io does so much of that. And I think that does help reduce the burnout, because you don't have to hop on to ConvertKit and WordPress and this and that and this. That was really my business before I found System. It was held together by duct tape and a prayer, to be honest. It was pretty brutal, which is, I have ADHD, that makes sense. But that's one of the things I love about System, is that it's very ADHD friendly in the sense that it's all right there. It's all right there. It's in one spot. You don't need to remember a bunch of websites or passwords. Like, it's in one spot for you, which was just a huge game changer for me. But yeah, publishing my book, System made it really easy to make like a landing page for the book where I could show off the cover and the blurb. And then I have links where you can buy it all the places. Like, if you want to get it on Amazon because it's cheap, or if you're boycotting Amazon, support the publisher. That's great. Whatever works. Like, and then I got to promote, I did the audiobook for my book, which was so fun. And so I have my little Audible link for that as well. And I think it's a really easy to navigate web page, hopefully. And I think System just made it really simple to do that.
Okay. And you mentioned all the bells and whistles are right there in one platform. Mm-hmm. How many bells and whistles have you utilized? We know website, funnels, email marketing, but there's so much more. Yes. Community, courses, like what else do you have?
I have courses. The courses have been super easy and fun to make. So I definitely utilize the courses, and I use them for courses you can buy from my shop, but I also used them I had a membership. I decided not to use Systeme.io's community feature, only because I surveyed my audience and they said, I do not want another app. And I was like, fair enough. So we went with apps I already had, like Discord and Voxer and stuff like that. But there was content I wanted to give them. And I was like, okay, I know you don't want another app, but here is this course that has all the stuff, if that's something you want. And so I utilized courses in that capacity. I've also utilized courses for my summits. I host these big live events, and people can purchase the goodie bag, which has all the replays of the live presentations. And it comes with like little bonuses that some of the speakers decided to donate. So I put those all in like one course, and there's a replay module and then a goodies module. And it was just very easy to set up on the back end.
Oh, great. I love the use of the goodie bag. That's so cute. Yeah. It just gives me all the dopamine. Like, I'm just like, oh, yes. I want a goodie bag.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay. And then again, listening to your community, where they want to go. I think that's very wise. Some people try to, oh, this is the tunnel. This is the funnel. This is the tunnel that we're going to do. Here you go. So speaking of funnels, how do you get the awareness and funnel them down to your website? Where are you at? How are you getting leads? How are you getting traffic?
So this has changed a lot over the years. So at first I was really trying on Instagram. I was going full bore, posting all the time, and it just like wasn't really picking up for me that well. And I think it had a lot to do with my design skills when I started. They were not excellent. But then with the height of the pandemic and everything and the TikTok blowing up, my husband was like, Megan, you need to be on TikTok. And I was like, no, that sounds terrifying. And he was like, yeah, but your people are there. Like, you keep complaining that your people are not responding on Instagram. Like, he's like, I love you, but either stop complaining or get on TikTok. I was like, all right, fine. So I got on TikTok. I went viral within the first 2 months, and I grew that platform to over 300,000 followers, which was bananasville. It was so fun. I really loved TikTok, but I have found that YouTube works really well for me in a different way. So
Mhm.
TikTok is wonderful for growing my email list and growing awareness of the work that I do, but YouTube has been really, really great for getting like higher paying clients. I think because it's a longer form video and people have more time to like trust you and like hear that you know what you're talking about. Whereas TikTok is a pretty quick clip and like, yeah, that's great and helpful, but I'm not going to pay you, which is fair. Um, so YouTube has become a really big part of my visibility and nurturing as well. I've had a podcast in the past. Honestly, it didn't do that much for me, I don't think. So I haven't really gone back to that. I love private podcasts as like a freebie to get people on my email list. I have so much fun with those. But yeah, so I think right now, big picture is Instagram and Substack. That's what I'm really growing right now. I'm not using Substack for my email list. I'm using it as a social media to like get visibility. And then nurture is kind of YouTube and Substack. And then to get people to the website kind of goes from there. Or I have like events that I host, and that usually gets people into like pay Megan mode.
Okay, we're going to come to that pay Megan mode as we kind of dive in a couple of things before that. I am interested in how you're utilizing Substack to funnel and use that, because from the outside looking in, it just looks like blogging. It just looks like writing, which goes back to your roots. So why write there, but not, potentially on your own blog, on your own website for the SEO and domain authority?
Yes. So I think you kind of have to make a choice. Do you want to blog for SEO, for Google and chat and all those things to find you? Or do you want to blog in a social media capacity where there's already a built in audience and you don't need, like, I think the benefit of Substack is you don't need to catch Google's eye. You just need to catch people's eye. And I know
Mhm.
myself, I'm better at that. Compared to like appealing to SEO, I tend to be really bad at that. So, not that it's not something I could learn, but it's not a natural skill for me compared to like I said, I went viral within 2 months on TikTok. I'm good at that. I know how to catch people's eye, and I have a pre-existing audience. I have those people on TikTok and on Instagram already that I can show them my Substack and they can transfer over there, and I can grow that a little easier compared to, again, a blog is one more website they have to remember to go to, whereas Substack, they're already logging on. So that
Okay.
was my thought process. I'm not saying blogging's dead. Love blogs. There's several that I still read, but it just wasn't the avenue for me.
No, that's great, because I've seen that trend. And so it's being aware of the circumstances of digital marketing. And I think that's a great way that, and a sleeper, let's be honest. If you're not on Substack, you're not over there utilizing it. And like you said, treating it almost like a social media platform, another place for awareness and funneling. And you've already got these other places where you're not able to nurture them. You can push them to Substack, and now they get that long form nurturing in written form versus YouTube, where that's video. So talk about your YouTube funnel and how that long form, are you treating it like a funnel, or what lead magnet are you leading them to?
Mhm.
How are you funneling them from there?
So YouTube is one of those things that has really radically changed with the rebrand of my business, because YouTube really, really hates when you change what you're doing on your channel. They really, really penalize it, like to the point where one of my favorite YouTube creators, if you want to get started on YouTube, you should follow Katie Steckley. She's fantastic. She is
I do
brilliant.
follow her.
She's great.
She's great.
She has been spending years slowly pivoting from talking head informational videos to more vlog interactive videos. And it's taken her years to make that pivot. Same topic, just a slightly different format. And YouTube really pushed back, and she had to do it very slowly. Yeah,
Really?
YouTube, basically the way YouTube works is you show up to YouTube and you say, this is who I am. And they're like, great, this is who you are. We will show you to people who are looking for that. If you change it all, we will hide you under a basket because you're not stable. Basically, we can't trust to know what you're going to put out. So with that in mind, I am going to leave my current YouTube channel and I'm moving to a new one, because then I can be like, hi, here's who I am now. And it'll like me a little better compared to if I tried to pivot. But the goal with my new YouTube is I want to do lots of live streams. YouTube is really pushing those lately, which is great. And I love live streams. I think I flourish when people ask me questions and stuff, which is why I love podcast interviews as well. But live streams for sure. I'm going to be doing like EFT tapping videos. Those are very popular on YouTube. EFT stands for emotional freedom techniques. It's where you like tap and it's very soothing. Yeah, it's like a nervous system regulation tool. And then I'm also hoping to do a couple of like kind of witchy vlogs and whatnot.
and that's connected to your personal brand, the megangriffith.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So start from scratch. And then what do you plan on using to funnel them from YouTube over to your content?
My events and my free quiz that I have on my website.
Ooh, a quiz and events. And so when you talk about events, and are these webinars, like where are you going to host the video? Systeme.io, or are you going to have it private on YouTube? How do you do the events?
I usually host through Zoom. So I have people sign up on Systeme on my sales page, a landing page, a funnel. And then they receive both on the thank you page and in a automated email, they receive the Zoom link.
Oh, okay. Can't get more simpler than that.
Nope.
All right. So we have, explored all these things. So let's go full circle. The reason why you started this. You were already writing, being passionate and then purposeful with what you're doing. And you're like, okay, well, how can I be profitable? How has using Systeme.io and personal branding changed your life financially?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So as we've talked about, I am autistic and ADHD. I also have other like mental illnesses and whatnot. And I am not the most employable human being in the world. I do really struggle with traditional employment. I struggle to get it. I struggle to keep it. It's been an issue for me my whole life, right? And I've been employed in some capacity since I was 15, but it was always like working ice cream shops or working as a dishwasher and there were always issues too. Like I got a fellowship in college, which was lovely and amazing, and it helped pay for my school, which was wonderful. And I like didn't do half the work, and I felt so guilty. It was a whole thing. So I'm just not. I really struggle when I work for other people. And there was a time I was really ashamed of that. And now I'm like, okay, no, that's just the way my brain works. I have to be able to work for myself. So what's that going to look like? So for a long time, it looked like freelancing, which was lovely, but boring. And now I get to do the things I love and that I'm so passionate about. I get to help people, and it does make me some good money. So the growth it depends on who you ask. Some people are like, no, that's really fast growth. Some people are like, no, that's very slow. It really depends. So for me, it felt fast. It felt good. My first year in business, I made like 15K. So not a lot, not enough to live on. Thankfully, I had my husband. The second year though, I made 45K, which is like triple, which is fantastic. And then my third year in business, I made $100,000, which is bananas to me. And then I had twins and personal stuff came up. And so we made a lot less the next couple of years because twins will do that to you. They are very exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're back on the up and up, and I've got this new business idea. And I think now it's about financial freedom for sure, but it's also about like work-life balance, because I do think there reached a point where my business felt a little bit like traditional employment. It felt like a bit of a trap. Like I couldn't not do all the things I said I was going to do. And that made me feel a little backed into a corner. So I am creating this new rebrand, this new business where I have a little more freedom. I have a little more wiggle room and movement and exit ramps for if it does get to be too much.
So creating perhaps structure and systems, and instead of exchanging your time one-to-ones for money, some kind of something that can exponentially grow even without you being present, probably, right?
Yeah, what I'm picturing long term is definitely that, more of the passive income. But I think right now building up to passive income can take a lot of time and effort for sure. Um and I don't have that at the moment. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm still working one-to-one with people or in small groups, but I am doing it with the expectation, hey, if we work together for 8 weeks, I'm probably going to have to call off at least twice because I got triggered and I'm feeling I can't work, or because my kids are sick. Like, so just going in with that expectation, and with them, like, if that happens to you, you can also call off and we will reschedule and we will make it work. Like, this is a very reciprocal relationship. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. I was also a service provider and I have 5 kids, and so all of this makes sense, and that's why the ADHD didn't get diagnosed till later in life, because there was finally so much that I couldn't function anymore. Like, it was getting to a place that something's not right, and it's not just the circumstances. Like, why can't I still handle what I was handling 2 months ago or 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And because we mask, but traditional jobs, I love how you leaned into that too, because I have found that being online, being an entrepreneur, ends up being the route for so many people that they didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't the content creator industry going to be like $10 billion like by
Something like
2030?
that. It's wild.
It's wild. And people are still sleeping on it. So you have radically, changed your life, your family's life, and you would never get a raise like that in a traditional job. Like,
No.
let's just say.
No.
So now that you kind of already answered my questions, but I'll give them to you anyways because I don't want to assume. If you could describe Systeme.io in one word, what would you say?
Ooh. Probably either flexible or supportive. Yeah, both of those.
I love that. Now, flexible, yeah, it's got all that, the rainbow. Supportive. Can you lean into that? Because I actually do like that. And a lot of people may not know how supportive they are.
Yeah, I mean, so I am not techie. For any of you listening, like, oh, well, it makes sense that she is utilizing all that stuff on Systeme because she's clearly really good at tech. No, not even remotely. I am terrible at tech. I am not techie at all. Tech is one of those things that makes my brain shut down. And like, I'm an intelligent woman, but I cannot think when I'm presented with a tech problem. My brain is just like, ooh, you know? Um, so I am not techie at all. Systeme makes, like, the platform is very straightforward and intuitive, I think. Obviously that's going to be different for everybody, but for me, for my brain, it's very like straightforward. So it's supportive in the way that it is laid out. But I will also say the support team itself, the people on the other end, are so supportive. They are so kind. I swear, every 2 months, I'm like, I broke this. And they're like, okay, here's what you do. I'm like, thank you. So yeah, it's just been a program. Like, you almost want your software to be invisible. You don't want to have to think about your software. Your software should be an intuitive part of everything you do day to day, and that is what Systeme feels like to me.
I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. And so it's such a supportive system. It allows you to build your personal brand as an entrepreneur. So, what is the gift that being an entrepreneur has given you?
Mm. I feel capable again. I think I didn't feel capable for a long time trying to get into traditional employment. It really wore me down. It really made me feel like I just couldn't do anything right. And then I started my business and I made $100 in a month. And I was like, wait a minute, I did that. I made choices and I said things and people gave me money and then I made their life better. Like, I did that just because I could. Like, so it really gave me a sense of agency and capability back.
So maybe there's someone listening right now, that one person, and they're on the edge of their seat and they're saying, that's me. I don't feel capable. I don't feel seen, understood, but there's something inside me that I want to share. What would you say to them?
I think I would just say it does not matter how saturated the market is. It does not matter if other people are saying this too. It does not matter if you're bad at it at first. None of that matters. What matters is that you exist, that you are a person who is like interesting and compelling, and you have every right to take up space and to put your perspective out there if you want to. And there are people who will benefit from it. There are people who will be so grateful that you stood up and said, "Hi, my name is Megan. Here's what I do. Here's how I can help." You know?
That's beautiful. So, Megan, who are you and where can we find you after this podcast?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Megan. I am a shame oracle and I help people deal with deep rooted shame that makes them feel incapable or unseen. And you can find me at megangriffith.com. I'm also on Substack and Instagram at the Megan Griffith. And I'm on YouTube just at Shame Oracle, I think is what it is, because the Megan Griffith was taken. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Well, Megan, thank you for being a guest today and creating this nice neurodivergent party for everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right. All right, for everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another success story with Systeme.io. Until next time, keep creating.